Durchek, and I just have some further information about emissions, and I'll just turn it into you. I live in Lawrence, I work in Oneonta. I understand that the wind will blow that way sometimes, and I'm glad that you're going to research the, the EPA information. I appreciate that, because I will be breathing it too, probably part of the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nelson Du Bois, Nelson Du Bois from Montego. I just want to comment one thing about the research that you're talking about. The type of gas that's coming out of the natural gas line, the pollutants, are carcinogens. There's two types of carcinogens. One are related to the natural gas itself. The other is related to the engine and what it's producing. That's formaldehyde. If you remember back in the early 70s, 60s, smoking did not cause cancer. The reason it didn't cause cancer is because there were not long-term studies that have looked at the effects. When they studied the long-term effects, 10 to 20 years, huge problems with smoking. That's the same problem you're going to have with natural gas.
Thank you.
Since the subject was brought up on what sort of experience Delta Engineers has, I've been talking to them. They say that they have clients for 54 municipalities throughout the southern tier, including 17 in Otsego County and 2 in Delaware County. They've got clients Meredith, Davenport, Oneonta, and Otsego, and Unadilla. And of the 5 towns around us who would serve as access routes to the pipeline, 4 of them have signed with them. So I think it would be penny wise and pound foolish to go with amateurs. Also, I have Cedarwood. Delta offers the option providing model agreements and ordinances that the board can use to implement the road protection plan. Without that, a road protection plan is worthless, no matter how good the surveys are.
Right.
So that's something Crestwood would not be able to.
No, what are they can, what ordinances and stuff could they? The road use law, you mean, like that?
Delta is working partners with a legal firm.
Right.
And they can supply a model ordinance and or agreement to the town.
The ordinance, you mean law, basically.
Law, right, as a town law or. That's it.
Okay. Okay, Pete?
I went to the hearing in Albany where Joe Mons was at, and Pamela Malak from Orange County, she brought up right on camera, it's on YouTube, Eddie Rodriguez taped that I was there, and they walked away from a $400,000 mortgage on the house because they couldn't live there because they got sick. They just walked away from it. And a third of a mile away.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes.
I'm Wendy Swears. I'm right on the Franklin-Sydney line, and already the last week or so there's been those rubber, I assume, road counters across the road. And if nobody's been hired, I'm not sure who.
The county is doing that for us.
Doing that?
Yes.
Okay.
That's part of the county's doing that, and the planning department are doing mapping of the roads too. And that's where go from a $9,000 fee to like a $6,400 fee, because that's work that they don't have to do.
Okay.
And we asked the county if they would do that, and they said they would. So that's what the counter is for.
We've already seen increased truck traffic, huge dump trucks bringing fill over to the high side of Haney's Farm for that road that they're building in there by the cell tower that's not finished.
Okay.
So we're wondering if the town has any idea that they would step up and that house go down and keep the guys down more often than usual if there's going to be increased traffic, or if there would be that available that we could pick it up and spread it ourselves in front of our own house.
You know, we've been trying to get it down, but it's been raining a little too hard.
So you haven't got
If
Kelsey.
you put it down, it's going to be a bigger mess.
No, but I mean, as time goes on, will they do it more?
Yes.
Traffic is going to pick up.
Yes.
Is that it? That answer your question? Okay. Yes.
Okay, I came in late and I have not been to a Franklin meeting. My name is Carol O'Hara and I'm in Otsego. Are you taking a proactive stance on all of this going on, or are you just waiting for things to bubble up and then you're going to act?
We're not as proactive as the Franklin or Presser Group. We're not, but we are looking for answers. We're looking for some research. They've been kind enough to give us information to read over. So we are not waiting for everything else to happen, but we're not jumping forward. We're not taking, at least I'm not taking a proactive, but we're not sitting back or laying on the floor or whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure.
Now, you know they'll proactive you all in trying to bribe you with goodies.
Who?
This group, any group of the gas companies, the compressor station, they will go after the board, they will go after the elementary school, and you'll wind up getting maybe a scoreboard put in or monies to the board, which they've tried to do in Otsego.
Well, Otsego must be more important than Franklin. Nobody's come, I haven't even spoke to, no, I did speak, one representative from Constitution called me today. I got the message, I called him back, and he's gonna call me in the morning, I believe. But that's the communication we're getting from Constitution. It's pathetic. And if you're getting something in Otsego from them, my God, thank God, they're getting somebody.
Everybody is saying, oh, no, but beware of weeks bearing gifts, and we know where the
Well,
gifts are today.
as far as I know, I have not seen a gift, and I don't think Mark has seen gifts. So I think that's, to my knowledge, there's been we don't hardly can get information from them. That's a bad part about it. Yes.
I want to know why you're not proactive. Why, when this thing is going to be children, we have animals, why are you not proactive? Why are you not really looking into all, why are you not?
I am reading the information you give me,
Yeah.
Carol, there's no doubt. I take this home and I put it in the stove and burn it. We are looking into it, at least I am. I am not saying, I'm not gonna go proactive, I'm not, I guess, a real proactive person. I like to find out some facts.
Proactive people find out facts.
They're all facts that you like, nothing that you, I talked to a lady in here back a couple months ago, after my wife and I went to Wellsboro. Excuse me. And I told her, we went out there, the compressors, gates were shut, so we couldn't go in the compressor ladder, and the noise was more than it was in Hancock. We came out of the driveway, and across the road, this lady's coming down the driveway with a carriage. And by God, she had a baby in it. And she said she's lived there since '03. They built the house in '03, and the compressor station has been there since '69, the original one. Well, you know what? She had nothing bad to say about it. And then I was told, well, that's not anybody we want to talk to. Now, was that proactive, or was that kind of bias?
You should write that down and add it to all your facts. You should be more proactive, yes.
Are you done, Carol? Is that it? Okay, thank you. Yes.
Mr. Taggart,
Yes.
Rose Common from Missile Road, and with all due respect, when you say that you're not proactive, this is going to be a life-changing situation. I'm sure you would say that with everything that's going to be going on. Some of the purported, things that Compressor Franklin is concerned about, but also, the road traffic, we know that this is going to be life-changing. So you have to be proactive. It's not, proactive is not a bad word. What it says is that you're going to put your heart and soul into making sure this is the right thing for our town.
I am, but I'm not proactive on your side. This is a problem.
You don't have to be
We are
proactive.
okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, you don't have to be proactive on our side. At this particular point, you could be neutral. But proactive just means you're going to really investigate it. And what I see from these handouts that have been given out today, and I've been at several other meetings where there have been handouts, I've never seen you guys come back out and say to us, Franklin residents, you handed this to us, you handed this to this seems like crap to us, this seems real. We don't hear any feedback from these printouts. This is information that
Well,
there's a lot
Right.
of this information is fact-based. You know, you spoke to this lady who had her baby, and that's great that she was able to do that. But in order to really have a fair idea of what's going on in these areas, you've got to probably knock on 10, 20 doors, or take a contingency. You know, we'll go with you. Let's knock on the doors. One lady wheeling a baby carriage is not enough.
well, I
You know?
visited with 4 people down there.
Okay. But
And
that
their
is still-
concern
it's
was
not-
fracking, not wells
Right,
or
and for most people,
compressor station.
most people, you're right, Mr. Taggart,
Right.
they're relieved that fracking has been banned, but that is, we have all these other things now that are laid and all that.
Mhm.
So what I'm asking you today is, with these handouts, when we have our meeting next time, can you tell us what you thought about the handouts?
Well, I read over some of Jane Couch's handout she gave me last month, this pamphlet right here. And a lot of it pertains to wells.
Mhm.
And that has nothing to do with this. I mean, everybody ties it to pipeline and compressor station, I understand. But if the paperwork and stuff is, you know, a lot of it's to wells, which I'm against fracking. I don't want fracking.
Right, we will, I think most of us.
I mean,
are-
I think that's, you know, that seems to be the consensus. But that's my own opinion.
Right.
You know, so there's a lot of the information, it's all biased. It may be all true, I'm not saying it isn't, but it's very biased. And that's what I don't want to get tied up into, being all on one side and not looking for the facts.
I agree with you, but what I'm saying is, when you look at these things, you need a way to fact check. You know, you can say, I know that you don't go on the computer much, but maybe you have somebody that can, and say, look, this Jane Couch Jane Couch gave me this handout, or the Martyrs gave us this handout, Rich Comedy gave you a handout.
Right.
I had someone fact check it for me. Don't ask us
Right.
from Compressor Tree Franklin. Ask somebody else on the board that may be computer savvy. I don't know if you have grandchildren or somebody. The kids today, they can look up anything.
That's right.
And you can look at it and say, you know what, I'm looking at this, I don't see any basis for truth here. But you know what, maybe we will hand you something that you look, or have someone look for you, and you say, wow, you know, I never knew this. This is an important thing for this town to know. This is a really life-changing thing, and we need you to be proactive. We're not saying be proactive and just go with compressor-free Franklin. We're not saying that.
That's what a lot of them are saying.
No, what we're
No,
saying
okay, sorry.
is give the information a shot. You know,
Mm-hmm.
don't look at it as one side against the other. We're
Right.
all in this together. We want what's best for the town. So just look at the information. Don't trust us. Have one of the town board meetings, people on your board, check it, your grandkids, somebody you know who is computer savvy. Tell me, I'm looking at this information about EPA regulations, which, by the way, the compressor stations are not EPA regulated. That's a really big problem. But look at these numbers that Mr. Comedy gave us, or the Martyrs gave us. Do we have a basis on the computer of scientific information that has been taken, and then make a comparison? But we have the feeling, because we never hear back, that when we give you these handouts, maybe they do go in the garbage. How do we know? Because we don't have any feedback. You're the people that are leading us. You're the people that are making a major, major decision for us. So I beg you to please look at these handouts, have someone fact check them. Don't trust us, have someone fact check
Does
them.
anybody know how many compressors are in the United States? Just a question. Just a question. No. How many?
I don't know. I don't know what's,
Less than 1,000.
okay.
But there are 900 and some compressors in this country.
And if you think about that, Mr. Taggart, with 1,000 across the entire country, that one rather large one is scheduled to be here in this little town, that's significant if there's only 1,000. You know what I'm saying? There's millions of towns across the United States. So we're being chosen, you know, houses, and buying 117 acres, if that is what happens, if the Haney deal goes through, I'm guessing that there's not going to just be that one compressor, that there's going to be more infrastructure that's going to come along, and when Marcy or one of these other people wants to come in, the land is there. So how are we going to protect ourselves from becoming a dimmick? You know, Dimmitt was a nice little town before all that came in. So let's try to at least protect ourselves from not going down that road if it's possible, you know? So I hope that at the next meeting, we can hear a little bit about what you thought about the handouts, if that's possible. Thank you.
Okay, next. Okay, we'll go on to the regular meeting. Thank you. Okay, Mark, what do you got for us?
Just some updates. The 27th and 28th of July, we will be paving Kingsville. Excuse me?
And next month, the open meeting is going to be at the end of the town board meeting, not to start with. So it could be, just so you know, it's not going to be right after the minutes and stuff. It's going to be at the end of town business. Thank you.
I'll start that again.
Okay, so,
We're going to be doing some paving on Case Hill, 2.2 miles, be the 27th and 28th of this month. You'll see some signboards up at...
Good. Can't hear. Well, people need to stop talking so you can
Yeah,
hear
really.
him. If you're going to have a conversation, please go outside. You accuse us of sitting up here and being rude. You're being very rude when you're sitting there having sidebar conversations and nobody can hear. Thank you.
The 27th and 28th, there'll be the paving going on Case Hill. You'll see some signboards up, going to be at 357 and 28, letting everybody know. Coviskill Stone is going to be doing the work. They had the lowest bid on it, so we're going to try a little different approach on how we're going to pave that. Mining permit is in Cedarwood's hands. They just asked, New York State asked us for some more information. We're going to give that to them, which Mike has already given them, and then that we should be free to go here pretty soon with that. Surveying and all that stuff is done. Today I spent some time in Richfield Springs looking at trucks. Probably next month I'll have a set of specs and like to bid that.
so
This
five-
week.
550 or whatever.
It's probably going to be a 5500 Dodge. I like the way the air system was, and GVW is rivals at 550s.
How large a truck is this?
It's same size as like the Ford 550 is.
About a 2-ton.
Yeah, it's 21,000 GVW truck.
Air filter in a different spot.
Yeah, it's actually moved more to the center and picks up its air more from the bottom than it does up towards the top. So hopefully, he says they have not experienced the problems that they did with the Ford. The nice thing is they're both a Ford dealer and a Dodge dealer, so they've been seeing the results out of both of them. So we, price-wise, I don't know where it's going to come right now. We'll see. Grader, we're done with it. We lost a few days because of rain, but it's heading back. Guys been trying to get the roads done, you know, the best that they can. So it's been a fight. Calcium is not going down like it should be, but it's, you know, just like you guys.
The roads, calcium.
How much do you think you got right now, Jamie?
Probably 3/4 to 1 done, right?
You probably got another quarter of the roads yet to work then, or
Yeah.
less?
Yeah, about 20 roads left.
They're all the shorter ones, is what I understand.
Mainly.
Mainly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as soon as, you know, dries out a little bit, we'll get some more calcium. I know Christian Hill was one of them that did not get shot before we went on vacation, but it will as soon as it dries out. I don't really have much right now.
Okay, so we have fleet and recreation. Joanne, I saw her, everything seemed to be going fairly smooth. Windows coming now, I guess. For the swim classes and stuff using the pool.
How long's the pool been open, you know?
God, 2 weeks. A little more than that. It started during school.
During
It was open from 4 to 8 or something.
Nice.
Oh, maybe it was just since school. 2 weeks. Okay. And the planning board, we had last month's minutes. We had a meeting on Thursday night, and there's gonna be a public hearing on the 6th, I think, of August, first Thursday in August. In June, we had a simple subdivision up on Ceresna Road. And July's meeting, the only business was the Greek Orthodox Church up in Treadwell wants to have a cemetery on their property. And state law says they can, zoning says it can be done too. Anybody who wants one can have a cemetery on personal property. It's a special use permit, that's why there's a public hearing on the 6th to that effect, to find out if there's any limitations you want to put on it. I have a problem with private cemeteries, because once they're abandoned, towns take them over. And, you know, I'd like to see some community input. You know, let's have some controls on, because we don't want to just, I mean, it's an opportunity, yes, it's a great thing for families to do, but it's got to have maintenance over years and years and control there, yes.
Yeah, isn't it a health issue also?
I guess, I think
That would be,
somebody said they had, but at this, at the public, the meeting with the church and the planning board, there was no mention of the health department getting involved, which surprises me. I would think that'd be, you know, common. Yes?
Well, I think first of all, you probably could find out legally, you know, I don't know whether the Greeks bury or cremate, you know, how they interpret it.
Right.
That would probably be the question, and to make sure that there must be some health codes of.
I would think so, but that was never brought up at the planning.
But to your point about maintenance afterwards, perhaps, even though people in the town would be doing it for other people, a lot of times cemeteries, I know this from downstate anyway, they will have committees that will take care of the graves of, you know, where there is no descendants left or something like that. So maybe out of respect for one another, if this is allowed, there can be some little committee that goes and makes sure the graves are kept neat or whatever in generations to come.
You know, right now it's, you know, I know you've got 2, 3, or 4 that the town, you know, pays, you know, for mowing and not much, it's reasonable.
It could be volunteers.
Yeah.
I think established graveyards sometimes have a endowment fund, which pays for.
So that might be something that should be put into the, because a special use permit, you can put any kind of limitations or, you know, what you'd like on them, and then they can decide whether they want to do it or not.
That's an excellent idea.
That's a good idea, yes, yes.
I was just saying that was good, and how they bury, as that is actually really important, if they're having green funerals, or if they're doing, you know, because there's so many different things now.
Right.
That is actually, I think, it's sort of more dangerous if it's one that's just using embalmed things and all the chemicals, and then that's not being looked after.
I think, you know, I also think the Greek Orthodox do coffin.
This is a Russian Orthodox, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah, it's Russian.
It's
Russian.
Whether there's any difference or not.
There is.
Yeah. No, but they're mainly want it for their members, yeah, what is it? The not monks? Is it all?
I think they're priests and monks.
Priests and monks, mainly, and anybody who might be
there were
closely
nuns
related to the ones that are there.
There were nuns there at
Monastery.
one point. Yeah, it's a monastery.
I think an endowment would be an excellent idea.
That's not right, and that, I mean, that might be something to, you know, somebody ought to bring up maybe to that effect. Thank you. Okay, planning board. Correct. Anything else, Paul? Oh, yes, there is something else. I think we probably should appoint Dawn Ritz as town clerk. since Connie has put in her resignation, at least for 6 months. You're running.
I'm running in November.
Running in November for it, so there should be a motion to that effect, I believe. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now you can take notes. She's been doing it for nothing, now she got paid. Okay, okay. Well, I guess that's, is there anything else to come before the board?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Motion has been made, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good. Thank you. And we will look through the pages.